What's good, family? Shout out to the boss man, Alex O, for coming through and being super duper low with the coin and boosting up the YB camera resolution. Yeah, no doubt about it. So we got some breaking news right now regarding your mans, RUIZ, ORTIZ and Andy, Margin Boo. RUIZ. Let's get to the breaking part of this news right now. Michael Benson has leaked the fact that the fight has been announced. Yeah? Mr. Margin Boo, aka Andy Ruiz Jr., will face RUIZ ORTIZ in a heavyweight clash on September 4th in LA. Now, I can't lie to you, man. This fight, for years, I've been actually saying this is one of the fights that makes actual sense. Yeah? If anything, no, I guess, Deontay Wilder, he actually came out in the last few days and said that he ain't really trying to fight no more. I bring it up because I think Andy Ruiz, the only fight that's really better than this fight is Andy Ruiz versus Deontay himself, to be quite honest with you. Yeah? But apart from that, what's RUIZ ORTIZ doing? Yeah? He just hanging about, getting older. He probably near his 70s now, truth be known. So, and he's not, that's the thing about ORTIZ that pissed me off. A lot of these guys, they rant and rave, or a lot of LDBC cucked-ons. Oh, ORTIZ is the best. Listen, you can't be the boogeyman. You can't be the best if all you've done is get knocked spark out against Wilder. What the fuck? These guys, yeah, they hyped up ORTIZ too much hyping and not enough encouraging him or matchmaking through his actual fights. Who knows? We don't. The fact of the matter is, yeah, we don't actually know how good ORTIZ is. All we know is that he's old. That's it. As far as boxing goes, we don't know how good he is, but we know he old as you like, 100%, dusty looking ass. He dusty old. Yeah. But on a serious note, the fight, this is one of them ones. We're gonna find out, and really, we're gonna find out how good ORTIZ is. If ORTIZ is any good, really, let's not forget, people, Joseph Parker has outboxed Andy Ruiz. Yeah. Now I actually think Andy Ruiz probably won the fight, but the point is, Joseph Parker is like a C or a B level dude. He don't beat none of the top ones. ORTIZ is supposed to be able to KO AJ and beat Fury and all sorts. Yeah? So if that's the case, Ruiz should be light work. And I actually think Ruiz has got worse. Let's not forget, people, Andy Ruiz went life and death with Chris Arreola. I actually think Arreola won that fight. Arreola was the only one to score a knockdown. Andy Ruiz didn't knock Arreola down. And that, not to mention Arreola was hot 10 years ago. And Andy Ruiz, the new improved Andy Ruiz, who was training with Canelo's trainer, went life and death with Chris Arreola. That's just the facts. Nothing to do with bias, nothing to do with anything else. That's just what it is. Yeah? So, much like ORTIZ, yeah? Andy Ruiz and ORTIZ, we both don't know how good they are. That's the bottom line. We've got a lot of hype. In fact, both have a similar amount of hype, to be honest with you. Andy Ruiz has the hype as the Mexican killer just because he beat AJ. But again, to be quite honest, we don't even know how good AJ is. We don't. We'll find out how good AJ is in this Usyk fight, in my opinion. Yeah? Ruiz reminds me to some extent of George Kambosos. Ruiz had one good fight against one of the worst champions, or one of the worst performing champions. When Ruiz fought AJ, I'm not making excuses, but when Ruiz fought AJ, categorically it was one of the weakest types of AJ we've ever seen. Yeah? Facts. AJ came out, he was all nervous looking, whatever else. So, much like George Kambosos, who beat the worst looking Teofimo, Andy Ruiz beat the worst looking AJ. Yeah? And ORTIZ, as I've mentioned, he ain't beaten. Who's he beat? Who has ORTIZ beat? No one. And that's why this fight makes sense. It's the battle of the B leagues, or the C leagues, or the battle of the B/C leagues. Yeah? Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz, RUIZ ORTIZ. These guys, they're all sitting in that C or B league. And to be quite honest with you, though, the good thing about the B and C leagues are, it's these fights, and I'm going to salute PBC. Well, tell a lie. I was about to say I'm going to salute PBC for making this fight, but that's what they should be doing. It's only because we live in such an era where none of these fights that make sense get made. I'm kind of thinking, oh, I should thank PPC, but no, they're doing what they should be doing. Yeah, we should be seeing Ortiz versus Ruiz. Yeah, for me, Ortiz versus Ruiz is similar, really, to Benavidez versus Charlo. Yeah, it's a fight that makes sense. Two of the top guys-ish. These are the fights that set you up for the Canelo fight, or in this occasion, it's Ruiz versus Ortiz. The winner of that will set us up for a Fury fight, or for a Usyk fight, or whoever has the belts. That's what these fights mean, or should mean. But we don't get them. This really is one I'm trying to think. What other B-level fights have we seen? Yeah, what kind of face-up fights have we seen? This will be one of the first ones, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, even when you think about people like, well, I guess Terence Crawford and Errol Spence are about to fight each other, but Terence Crawford, I mean, yeah, he beat Sean Porter, who weren't training, who made excuses, but you know, scrap Crawford. Let's stick on the point here. Ortiz and Ruiz. It's a good fight. It's a mean something fight. It's a B-level, but the road to somewhere, I'd like to think. The winner of this fight, it makes sense. I mean, Joe Joyce is in a mandatory position right now for the WBA or WBO, so he's going to be waiting there. I don't see why not. But again, it's boxing, it won't happen, but hopefully, you'd like to think the winner of this fight, Ortiz and Ruiz, fights Joe Joyce. Yeah? But I guess Joe Joyce will probably just want to wait for his world championship fight. Again, it's a shame. But then again, Joe Joyce, he has been waiting for a long time. He deserves his shot. But still, I mean, not being funny, Ruiz lost to AJ. What year was it? Was it 2019? It was. No. Yeah, it was. It was December 2019. December 2019, Ruiz lost to AJ. It's been 3 years since then. What's he been doing? Ortiz. Wow. When Ortiz lost to Wilder, when was that? 2018? 2019 maybe? What's he been doing? 3 years. Both of these dudes have been doing nothing. And I remember at the time saying that this fight makes sense. I haven't spoke about this fight for a while. This fight made sense 2 years ago. Now, like I said, it's good. It's better than nothing that we're getting it now, but I don't know what it is about the politics or the bureaucracy and the BS and the way boxing's set up. It's like the opposite of the UFC. Yeah, the UFC has pure structure. They put on the best, and all the mid-tier B fights, yeah, they happen. Do you understand? All the mid-tier fights, they work themselves out, and that creates real world championship challenger opponents. In boxing, have you not noticed? In boxing, yeah, it seems to be every single world champion is fighting someone you never heard of. You never wonder that. Why in the UFC, yeah, every time a world champion fights, it's someone you know, and it's someone you can't wait to see. And you're obviously there's some blowouts, but for the most part, yeah, in the UFC, the champion fights someone who you're eager to see, and you're not really sure. They're all not 50-50, but they're all 60-40 or 70-30, and they're never blowouts. In boxing, you have champion versus some dude you never heard of most of the time. Yes, every now and then you get a good fight, but let me give you some examples, yeah? Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale, 2018 or whatever. That's an example. Or another one, Jermell Charlo versus Selecki or whatever. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Most world championship mandatories are bums. And meanwhile, the reason that is because these dudes, like Andy Ruiz and Ortiz, they ain't never fight each other. Everyone just wants to fight bums. But again, maybe I'm too focused on the macro issues in boxing. Maybe I should just rejoice that we're getting this one. Will I be shocked if it don't happen? I won't. It's boxing. Will I be shocked if someone pulls out or Ortiz has a heart attack or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Ortiz passes away from old age? No, I won't. Yeah? I'll believe it when I see it, to be honest with you. Yeah? But this fight, who wins, how it goes, I got no idea, man. Andy Ruiz has a great chin. He has great hand speed. He has slow feet. Ortiz, his chin ain't bad. His chin got wiped by Wilder, but his chin's been pretty solid outside of that. And in all honesty, it's an interesting fight. The winner of this fight will be a solid dude. Yeah, whoever comes through, it'll be a solid dude. And really, as I said, whoever comes through this fight should be pushing for that world championship shot, to be honest with you. I think the winner should fight Joe Joyce, and then the winner of that. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's how true challengers are built. It's supposed to go Ortiz versus Ruiz. Let's say Ortiz wins, Ortiz versus Joyce, and then let's say Joe Joyce wins. At that point, you say, wow, Joe Joyce is a solid guy. He's essentially beat Ruiz and Ortiz. Man, I'm not sure. That's how you build intrigue. In boxing, though, it's like, and even with Usyk and AJ, there was no intrigue. Apart from for hardcores, yeah, there was no intrigue for AJ versus Usyk. Why? He ain't done nothing. And scarily enough, Joe Joyce has been waiting for years. And I'm not saying he's even done a whole... Oh yeah, to be fair, Joe Joyce has a better win at heavyweight than your man's Usyk had. Joe Joyce had knocked out the key guy, or one of the key guys, Daniel Dubois. Yeah? Usyk ain't done nothing. Like I said, at heavyweight, really, out of everyone, Ruiz, Ortiz, Usyk, any of them mid-level guys, yeah, Joe Joyce actually has the best resume. He got a stoppage over a key guy. Who else has that? Oops, no one. But instead, Usyk got the shot. And Usyk hadn't even fought heavyweight and had just gone life and death with Chisora. Now, the reason I bring that up is to tell you, I know it's off topic, but still it's relevant, is to tell you, many people don't know, before AJ fought Usyk, yeah, or before that fight was even ordered, first off, it was Joyce versus Usyk was ordered. Yeah, Joyce versus Usyk was the fight that was supposed to happen. Facts. And then Usyk and his team did a whole bunch of politicking. They didn't want the Joyce fight, for obvious reasons. And that's why boxing's in the state it's in. None of these mid-level guys want to actually fight. What they want to do is sit around, not take no risk, and get a massive payday. That's the bottom line. And roll over to lose. Same as Caleb Plant. Perfect example. Plant hanging around, fighting bums, and gets Canelo. Look at Jamal Charlo. He's another one doing it in lifetime. Just fighting. And he can't even fight bums. He pulled out on Selecki. Embarrassing. Yeah? But anyway, man, let me stop ranting. Either way, great fight. 50-50 in my opinion. Andy Ruiz, there's been some rumours that Ruiz has left Reynoso. I'm not even sure what's going on there. It's all a big mess, to be honest with you. Frank Sanchez has left. Ryan Garcia's obviously left. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if Ruiz has left or not. Will it make any difference? It didn't make no difference in the Areola fight. Oops. Yeah. I don't know what. When was the last time we saw Ortiz? Yeah. In fact, when was the last time we saw Ruiz, to be honest with you? So they're both inactive. That's the problem with the sport. Both inactive. I just hope it happens. That's all I can say. That's the best thing for this fight will be for it to happen. If it don't happen, I wouldn't be surprised. And that was some boxing up, to be honest with you. Any fight that makes sense don't happen. The only fights that you can be sure of happening in boxing, yeah, is bums. Facts.